Hey guys, before we move into the channeling, I just wanted to explain. I have a reaction in this video. First of all, I've been sick, so it's taken over a week for me to get this video to you. And second of all, um, Prime Creator is explaining some heavy information, and I pop out of the channeling state and into myself, my own voice. What that means is that when I get a little bit reactive to the message that comes through, but what I'm feeling is the collective pushback on Prime Creator's message, the collective energy. And so when I'm speaking and I interrupt the channeling, not, it's maybe partially my own voice, but it's the voice of the collective energy, really, that I am uh, projecting through in this video. So I just wanted to explain that so when you see it, when you watch it, you understand what's happening. It's not necessarily that I'm personally reacting, but I'm embodying the voice of the collective as I react back. Because when I get into the channeling state, I am fully connected into Prime Creator and the collective energy. That's how I bring through the message. So when you witness my reaction, you'll understand what's happening. Dear ones, before I begin to describe October, I do invite you to get grounded. And so, whatever it is you do to ground yourselves, it is important that this message is received in the correct energy with you being grounded. So, take a few moments to connect to your planet Earth and to feel your feet and your energy body deeply connected with your planet. I invite you also to focus on your heart and to open your heart. As October will be a bit messy. The timelines and time spirals for October are rapidly moving, meaning that many timelines are not yet set, but also that there are many energies and many possibilities for what could happen swirling about. The energies of October are not settled energies. They are rapidly changing, rapidly moving. You will have to duck and weave this month, dear ones. Meaning, it is important that you stay grounded and go with the flow, with open hearts. You could say to expect the unexpected. And you will not necessarily feel settled this month. However, you can feel more settled if you keep your hearts open and if you focus on remaining grounded. And so, whatever you can do, dear ones, to take care of your energy bodies, to take care of your spiritual self, will be of utmost importance. Especially because many of you who listen to these messages are on the front lines, so to speak, energetically. emotionally, spiritually. And it is important for you to maintain the sacredness of the container, meaning to take care of yourselves and to maintain a sacred, holy space within your minds, within your spirits and your hearts, because you are holding the energy for the collective. Do whatever you can do to remain in a joyful state, in a grounded state, and of clear mind. Do not allow what you might see externally to have influence over your emotional state, over your mental state, and your spiritual state. The month of October will be an invitation to step deeper into your spiritual mastery as you hold the energies of heaven on earth within your hearts, and to maintain the state of heaven on earth within your energy fields, your physical bodies. I will not sugarcoat this, dear ones, that October could be very challenging. Some will experience the energy as status quo. They will not notice any major changes or fluctuations. But those of you who are awake in your sensitivities, meaning that you allow yourself to feel and you do not filter your emotional state, you will feel more of the messiness. In terms of physical health, it is important that you pay attention to your bodies and what your bodies are asking of you. If you need to supplement with nutrients, pay attention to this. If you need to rest, pay attention to this. If you need to move your bodies so that the energies do not become stagnant, pay attention to this. This is not a time to take advantage of how well your bodies have served you. This is a time to nurture the physical body. In terms of specifics of what could happen this month, as I mentioned, the timelines are not set. However, there are many possibilities, and so I will review a few so that you can be mentally prepared. There could be great upset or disruption in your political systems, especially in the United States. The shadow forces are attempting to move forward with some very dark agendas, and you could see this played out within your political systems with attempted laws, or at the very least mandates to remove many of your freedoms. Will this happen? It is still yet to be determined, because there is a very intense spiritual battle unfolding at this time. This is why I say to focus on your mental, physical, spiritual, emotional health, because again, many of you are on the front lines in fighting this battle energetically, in your sleep, etc. So deep self-care is needed at this time. On one hand, the collective energy is deciding what will be allowed. But on another hand, there are many in your star family, many galactic beings that are fighting this fight with you. And so at this point, it is not only up to the collective energy, it is also up to the galactic reinforcements, I will say, and what can be accomplished and achieved from this angle. Although this channel does not like to speak in terms of war or to create more polarity or division, there is a very acute spiritual war that is unfolding at this time. This is why I started you out with an invitation to stay grounded while receiving these messages today. You could see a collapse of the banking system, although this possibility is not quite as strong as political disruption. You could see major announcements in your mainstream media that would include some disclosure about the coronavirus and specifically how it is a bioweapon produced against humanity. This is not so likely in your month of October, but this is a possibility. Because there are more doctors speaking up about the nature of this virus. What I would ask of each of you, dear ones, is if you are willing to become transmuters, whether you choose to work with the violet flame or your own powers of turning dark into light, it is important right now that as many beings as possible are turning the shadow forces into love. And so whenever you see something that you do not like or that does not sit well in your stomach, to go back to gratitude for all that is being revealed. And even though the message for October was a bit heavy, it is also important to remember, dear ones, that you are moving through the eye of the needle. This is the darkest time before the light dawns. Unfortunately, it needs to occur this way that things get dark before they get lighter, because the collective energy has not had an overwhelming enough response to move things into the light in a more easy fashion. And it is not to say that good things are not happening or that things are not being revealed. Indeed, they are. There are many good things unfolding. There are many beings awakening. There is much light that is assisting. It is just that October will look darker in some respects because the light is shining on this shadow. and on the shadows that have been perpetuated over the last tens of thousands of years. This is a great cycle that is coming to a head. This is the culmination of the spiritual war that has been raging for many thousands of years. And so this is a very auspicious time. And this is a time where the light does finally emerge. But there will be some challenges and challenging energies before the full break of dawn. And so remember, dear ones, that the light is fully emerging. That is why there will be some difficulty first. Remember who you are. Remember what you stand for. Remember that you are vessels and embodiers of great light if you choose to accept that mission. There was a question about the Arizona ballots. Would someone like to ask this question, dear ones?
Yeah, I had that before. Can we expect anything that the whole document comes out and that will be coming out in the mainstream? Because everybody was expecting something to happen, but pretty much nothing happened.
Dear ones, you can look at it like a game of chess that is being played. That even though there was a very strong move to bring some disclosure, the shadow forces have done their best to cover it up and make it a non-event or a non-issue. Yes, there are documents that are showing some truth, but they have been suppressed. There are beings that are working towards getting the documents released. And so you could likely see this happening in October or November. But again, some of this is depending upon what moves each side makes. For many, working for the light realm within your government systems are playing this game of chess with a lot of awareness that the right move needs to be made at the right time. And so there is a game of patience that all need to play at this time and trusting in the divine timing. If certain things are disclosed or released at the wrong time, it is worse for the overall picture. And so these things need to happen with great calculation. So I'm just going to interrupt the channeling for a minute because I feel like, this is hard for me to hear. I feel like, uh, what is our role? To wait for divine timing? I mean, these things that are happening that need to be disclosed, um, I don't know. I kind of want to fight back against what Prime Creator's saying. Like, we need to wait and trust. I mean, haven't we been doing that for decades? Haven't we been doing that for thousands of years? So I don't know what my question for Prime Creator is around that, but I feel my fire going, rising up, and I want to be like, well, that's not. I feel like we're just being used as pawns or something like that. So I don't
Yes,
know.
hello. So concerning waiting for divine timing, uh, would we be able to, if we knew in our hearts that it was the right timing, as you said, we are on the forefront and we're the front lines for this spiritual war, would it be right if we released documents and truths of our own discreetly?
Dear one, it is one thing to be on the front lines energetically and spiritually. It is another to put yourself in a situation where you could be physically targeted. And so this is the conundrum as part of this spiritual warfare, is that once someone puts themselves out there as a threat to the shadow forces, there is then the potential for that being to be either killed or to be weakened and targeted spiritually. That is why so much calculation has to be made, is because someone who is a spiritual warrior, for example, it is important that their energy be put towards that role. And if they make themselves physically available to attack, then it is on a whole other level. And so each being that has information has to weigh and calculate what is the most important way to use their knowledge, their energy, the disclosure that they have. It is a decision that should not be made lightly. Dear ones, I wish to work a bit with you all to bring the focus back to 0 point energy and neutrality. There has been much talk in this transmission of spiritual warfare and light and shadow. And so I feel it is important to remind you that within each of you is a space that you can access that does not need to engage with these energies of polarity. And the neutrality, the 0 point energy will assist in moving forward with equanimity and allowing the unfolding of what is divine. And so while some of you do play a role in this spiritual battle, fighting for the side of the light, you can also understand from a perspective that you do not need to fight, that staying in 0 point energy is a way to embody even more light. I understand that this may not fully make sense to the human mind. However, if you can tune into the energies and frequencies of your heart, there's a space within your heart that is attuned to 0 point, that can be attuned to 0 point energy. And this allows the space for all to occur within the divine matrix. Zero point energy does not mean complacency. It does not mean apathy. It means that you allow for a mastery of holding the light and the shadow within the highest frequencies of love. And so I invite you, dear ones, to come back to this place within your heart where you hold all for the highest good, the highest unfolding of light upon your planet Earth and within your solar system and galaxy. Zero point energy cannot be touched or manipulated by shadow forces. And so that is why I bring focus on this. So that regardless of what happens in October, you are safe, you are grounded, you cannot be manipulated or touched.
I was even thinking with my other groups and so, like a statement or confirmation, what I say is I am source, we are source, source is love and light, so nothing can do anything to me.
Yes, dear one, this is beautiful, and I invite each of you to use either this affirmation or one of your own that resonates more closely with your heart to remind you that you are source, that you are source light, that you are protected by the light. And so it is. And I thank you, dear ones. So I guess in my own mind, I feel like we've been very patient and waiting for disclosure and all of the things that we're told are going to happen eventually, all of the things that we know or we think we know that need to come into the light. And maybe I'm just tired of trusting, if I'm being honest. Maybe I'm just tired of waiting. So that's my own issue that I'll have to work on. But I am grateful to Prime Creator for sharing the transmission with us today. So thanks for joining me in this video, you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.